This is an ABC News special report.
Good morning, I'm Terry Moran, and we are coming on the air for a historic moment unfolding on Capitol Hill. New York Republican Congressman George Santos has just been expelled from Congress. He is only the 6th person in American history to be voted out of the House of Representatives. The results of the bipartisan vote really weren't that close. A 2/3 majority of the members present was needed, so the House is now made up of 221 Republicans and 213 Democrats. The final vote, 311 voting to expel Santos, 114 voting against it, and 2 members voting present. This vote narrows the already small majority held by Republicans in the House of Representatives. Prior to the House, Mike Johnson told Republican members to vote their conscience, saying he himself would not be voting to expel George Santos. But many Republicans, especially the New York delegation, decided they have had enough. Santos, who was inside the House chamber at the time of the vote, he's been a lightning rod for controversy since before he was even sworn into office. His ousting follows the release of a blistering report from the House Ethics Committee, which accused him of stealing money from his campaign for personal use, including paying for rent, for designer clothes, for Botox, and even for an adult website. The ethics panel spent months interviewing 40 witnesses, pouring over 172,000 pages of documents to reach that conclusion. Santos has also been indicted by a federal grand jury. He's pled not guilty to 23 federal counts, including fraud and identity theft. Throughout it all, he has been defiant, insisting that he would force this vote. Now he's lost it. So let's get right to ABC senior congressional correspondent Rachel Scott. Rachel, this is a historical moment. George Santos, the first person expelled from Congress who was not either a traitor to the country. 3 were Confederates who had been expelled previously or been convicted of crimes. He's been convicted of nothing, but the House decided he'd had enough.
Terry, we just watched history unfold in the House today. Congressman George Santos has officially been expelled from Congress, making him the 6th member of the House of Representatives to be forced out, the very first Republican member of the House to be forced out of Congress. This momentum has been growing for months, and this could not have happened today without the support of Republicans. In the end, you had more than 100 Republicans say that they support this push to expel Congressman George Santos from the House. From the moment that he walked through the doors here on Capitol Hill, he has been defiant. He's been accused of lying about his professional resume and his background. Then he pleaded not guilty to those 23 federal charges, including identity theft, unemployment fraud, and wire fraud. But it really was this latest report from the House Ethics Committee, which was blistering, accusing him of blatantly stealing from his campaign, using that money to fund trips to Atlantic City, even on Botox, designer goods, that really caused this momentum to start to grow, this push from Republicans to say he needs to be forced out. And so now here you have it. Here we are. They expressed some concerns about the precedent that this would set. That's why you saw every single member of House leadership, including the new Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, reject this push to expel Congressman George Santos. But this is effective immediately. As of right now, Congressman George Santos is no longer a member of Congress, Terry.
It really is a remarkable moment and a precedent, as you say. But for practical purposes now, the House Republican majority has been narrowed in the House of Representatives, already very slim. It's now 221 to 213. What happens next now that the 3rd district, congressional district of New York, doesn't have a member of Congress? What happens next?
Yes, and Terry, Republicans were worried about losing a lot of their majority here, too. They went from a 4-seat edge now to a 3-seat edge. That is going to make things more complicated with pushing through their own priorities in the House chamber. And so, as I mentioned, this is now effective immediately. So in the next 7 to 10 days, we will see the governor of New York, Kathy Hochul, call for a special election. The special election would then have to happen in the next 70 to 80 days after it is called. But one thing that is important to note here, there is no guarantee that a Republican can hang on to that district. That is a district that President Biden won. It's a district that Congressman George Santos flipped as a Republican, and it will be very tough for Republicans to keep that seat, Terry.
So much at stake, the precedent and the politics. Rachel Scott in Congress, thanks very much. Our coverage continues on ABC News Live and abcnews.com as well. And we'll have a complete wrap-up on world news tonight. I'm Terry Moran. Have a good day.
This has been a special report from ABC News.